Welcome to English Minds,
the podcast where we make learning English fun and easy.
Hello, dear listener. I'm Emma, and I'm so glad you're here with us today. Thank you for pressing play and spending a few quiet minutes together.
And I'm Daniel. It always feels nice to sit down with you again. Thanks for choosing to join our little cozy space.
Yes, truly. We know your day might be busy, but the fact that you're here, listening, learning, and growing, that already means a lot. Today, we want to slow down a little and talk about something simple but powerful. Being thankful for what we have.
I like that. You know, sometimes I forget to do that, to just be thankful. It's so easy to think about what I don't have or what I still want.
I think that happens to all of us. We live in a world that tells us we always need more. More success, more money, more everything. But often, the peace we're looking for is already right here, in what we already have.
So true. I remember one day I was feeling frustrated. My phone was old, my shoes were worn out, and I started thinking, why can't I have nicer things? But then I saw a man sitting outside the cafe with just a small backpack, smiling at the morning sun. And suddenly I felt a little embarrassed.
I understand that feeling. Sometimes we realize how lucky we are only when we see someone who has less, or when we stop to notice small comforts we usually take for granted.
Yeah, like being healthy, or having food on the table, or friends to talk to. Those things sound simple, but when you lose one, you realize how important they are.
Exactly. Gratitude begins when we notice, not when life is perfect, but when we see what's already good.
I like that. Gratitude begins when we notice. That's a good reminder.
It really is. And the beautiful thing is, gratitude doesn't need anything fancy. You can feel it right now by looking around, breathing in, and whispering a quiet thank you for something small.
That sounds peaceful.
It is. And when you make it a habit, it changes how you see the world and how you feel inside.
I guess today's episode is going to help us practice that together, right?
Yes. Together, we'll explore how to find gratitude even when life feels ordinary or even difficult. Because thankfulness isn't just a happy thought. It's a way to live with more meaning and less stress.
Sounds perfect. I think we all need that.
You know, Daniel, sometimes it's not that we don't have good things in our lives, it's that we stop noticing them.
Yeah, I think that's true. I mean, when I first got my motorbike, I was so happy. I even cleaned it every weekend. But after a few months, it just became normal. I didn't even think about how lucky I was to have it.
That's such a common story. Our brains get used to what we have. It's called adaptation. We adapt so quickly that we start focusing on what's missing again.
So basically, we forget to be thankful once something becomes part of our routine.
Exactly. It's like when you buy new shoes. At first, you feel proud every time you wear them. But after a while, they're just shoes. You stop noticing.
That sounds like me. I always want something new, a better phone, a nicer room, more time to travel. But when I get it, the happiness never lasts long.
That's the tricky thing about wanting more. It's never ending. Gratitude, on the other hand, helps you feel enough right where you are.
Feel enough. I like that phrase. But it's hard sometimes, isn't it? Especially when you see other people doing better, like on social media. Everyone seems to have perfect lives.
Yes, that's one of the biggest reasons we forget gratitude. We compare. We scroll through other people's highlights and start feeling small. But comparison is like a mirror that only shows what we don't have.
Wow, that's true. And I guess we forget that people only post the good parts, not the hard ones.
Exactly. You never know what's really behind the pictures. So when you find yourself comparing, it helps to pause and think, what's one good thing in my own life right now? That small question brings your attention back to your own blessings.
That's a good idea. Like, even when I have a bad day, I can still be thankful that I have a job, or my family, or even just the chance to start over tomorrow.
Yes. Gratitude doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect. It just means noticing that not everything is bad.
That's comforting, because sometimes I feel guilty when I complain. Like, I'm not supposed to be unhappy.
Oh, we all have moments when we feel down. Being thankful doesn't erase pain. It simply helps balance it. You can feel sad and thankful at the same time.
So, gratitude doesn't mean ignoring what's wrong. It means remembering what's right.
Beautifully said, Daniel. Gratitude reminds us that life is still full of gifts, even on ordinary days.
Yeah, I think I'm starting to see that now.
That's wonderful. Because once we stop chasing what's missing and start seeing what's here, we open the door to peace.
Maybe that's the real secret. Happiness isn't in the future. It's in what we already have, right now.
Exactly. You know, Daniel, sometimes we imagine joy as something big, like a dream job, a vacation, or a big success. But often, real joy hides in small, ordinary things.
Yeah, like waking up early and hearing birds outside your window. It's small, but it feels nice.
Exactly. Joy doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers. A warm cup of tea on a quiet morning. A message from a friend. The smell of clean laundry. Little things that say, life is still kind.
I love that. But honestly, I used to think my life was boring because every day looked the same. Work, home, sleep. I thought joy meant excitement.
I understand that. I used to think like that too. But after a while, I realized peace and excitement aren't the same. Joy doesn't have to be loud. It can be soft. A gentle feeling that tells you, this moment is enough.
That makes me think of my grandma. She used to sit on the porch every evening with a small cup of coffee, just watching the sunset. I once asked her, "Don't you get bored doing that every day?" And she said, "No, the sky is never the same twice."
Oh, that's beautiful. Your grandma really understood what it means to be present, to truly see life, instead of just passing through it.
Yeah, I didn't understand it then, but now I think she was one of the happiest people I've known. She didn't have much, but she was always smiling.
That's the quiet power of gratitude. It turns ordinary moments into special ones. When we pay attention, even something as simple as washing dishes can feel peaceful. You notice the warm water, the sound of running water, the little bubbles.
I never thought of washing dishes as peaceful, but okay, I'll try.
Fair enough. It's not about the dishes. It's about how we do things. When we bring awareness, we start finding small joys everywhere.
So it's like we train our minds to see what's good, instead of waiting for something amazing to happen.
Exactly. And you know what's interesting? The more you notice those small joys, the more they seem to appear.
Really? Like magic?
In a way, yes. Because your focus changes. You start looking for what's good, and that's what your heart begins to see more of.
I guess that's true. When I started writing down one good thing every night, even small things like had a nice lunch or the bus came on time, I noticed my days felt lighter.
That's a wonderful practice. Gratitude journaling helps train your brain to remember the positive moments. Over time, it makes your whole outlook softer and kinder.
It's funny how small things can make such a big difference. Maybe that's what people mean when they say happiness comes from within.
Yes, happiness doesn't always mean more. Sometimes it means enough.
Enough. I like that word. It feels peaceful.
Me too. And maybe that's what joy really is. Not chasing, not comparing, but simply saying, this is enough for me right now.
I'll remember that. You know, I think I'll text my grandma tonight, just to say thank you.
I think she'd love that.
You know, Emma, it's easy to be thankful when things are going well, but when life gets hard, that's when gratitude feels impossible.
I completely understand that, Daniel. Gratitude doesn't come naturally in difficult moments. When we're in pain, the last thing we want to do is say thank you.
Exactly. Like last year when I lost my job for a few months. I remember waking up every morning feeling worried and useless. I couldn't see anything to be thankful for.
That must have been a really heavy time for you.
Yeah, it was. But looking back now, I think that time taught me a lot about patience and about myself.
That's the quiet strength of gratitude. It doesn't mean you're happy about what happened, but it helps you see meaning in the middle of pain. It's like finding a small light in a dark room.
So, gratitude doesn't fix everything, but it helps you find a reason to keep going.
Exactly. Sometimes it's as small as saying, I'm grateful I'm still here. Or, I'm thankful for someone who cares. Those little thoughts can keep your heart open when everything else feels closed.
I remember one night during that time, I was feeling so low. My friend brought me soup and just sat with me, not even talking much. That small kindness made me feel seen. Maybe that was something to be thankful for.
Absolutely. Gratitude often begins with moments like that. Not big, perfect ones, but quiet gestures of care. They remind us we're not alone.
I think sometimes we wait for life to get better before we start being thankful. But maybe it's the other way around. Maybe life gets better because we're thankful.
That's beautifully said, Daniel. Gratitude changes how we see the story we're in. It doesn't erase the pain, but it gives us hope. And hope is what helps us heal.
It reminds me of something my mum used to say. Don't let what you've lost make you forget what you still have.
Your mom sounds wise. That's the perfect summary of gratitude during tough times. Even when everything feels broken, there's always something still standing. And that's where we can begin again.
Yeah. I guess even pain can be a teacher.
Exactly. Gratitude helps us see what pain is teaching. Maybe it's patience. Maybe it's compassion. Maybe it's the value of simple things.
So, gratitude isn't only for sunny days. It's also for the rainy ones.
Yes, and sometimes it's during the rain that we grow the most.
You know, after losing that job, I found a new one months later. It wasn't what I planned, but it turned out to be better for me. If that hadn't happened, I'd never have found it.
That's a perfect example. Gratitude helps us trust the journey, even when we can't see the whole map.
I like that idea. Trust the journey.
And that's what gratitude really is. Trust in disguise. Trust that there's still something good, still something to learn, still something to love.
That feels peaceful.
It is. Gratitude won't remove the storm, but it can give you an umbrella and the strength to walk through it with grace.
I'll remember that next time I get caught in the rain.
Sometimes, Daniel, I think gratitude is like a quiet thank you that we whisper to life. Not because everything is perfect, but because we're still here, still learning, still feeling.
Yeah, and even when things aren't perfect, there's always something. A person, a moment, or even just the sunrise that reminds us life isn't all bad.
Exactly. Gratitude turns simple moments into treasures. The smell of rain, the sound of laughter, a message from someone who remembers you. These are all small reminders that life is worth noticing.
You know, I started keeping a little thank you list in my phone. Just 1 or 2 things every day, like, had good coffee this morning, or my sister made me laugh. It sounds silly, but it really changes my mood.
That's not silly at all. That's powerful. You're training your heart to see beauty in the ordinary. Gratitude doesn't need to be big. It just needs to be real.
Sometimes I even write, didn't forget my umbrella.
That's a great one. It's exactly what gratitude is about. Noticing life's tiny gifts before they disappear.
Yeah. And I guess when we start saying thank you for small things, life starts to feel a little lighter.
Yes, because thankfulness shifts your focus from what's missing to what's present. It doesn't just make you happier, it makes you calmer, more patient, more kind.
That's true. When I focus on what I have, I feel less stressed about what I don't.
That's the beauty of it. Gratitude gives you peace without changing your situation, only your perspective.
I like that. It's like seeing life through softer eyes.
Softer eyes and a warmer heart.
You know, Emma, before we started this episode, I was thinking about all the things I still need to do or wish I had. But right now, I just feel thankful for this conversation and for everyone listening.
Me too, Daniel. I'm thankful for you, for this space we share, and for every listener who's spending this time with us.
Yeah. To anyone listening, thank you for being here. We hope you find something today, even small, to be grateful for.
And remember, you don't need a perfect life to say thank you. Gratitude isn't about having more, it's about seeing more.
I love that. Seeing more.
So take a deep breath, look around, and whisper a quiet thank you for this moment, for this breath, for this day.
Thank you for being here with us.
Until next time, take care of your heart and keep finding joy in the simple things.
See you in the next cozy chat, my friend.
Bye for now.